Welcome to my channel where we explore the dark and twisted world of horror stories. Whether you're a fan of classic tales or new and innovative horror, you'll find something to enjoy here. So sit back, relax, and let's get scared together. It was a long weekend, and my girlfriend and I had set out to plan an adventurous trip to explore different provinces. The journey had gone according to plan until our return leg. We pulled into a remote hotel on our way home. The drive down an alley, flanked by looming pine forests, sent a chill down my spine. There were no streetlights here, an unsettling departure from the norm in other provinces. As I approached the hotel, my heart settled a bit upon seeing a handful of cars parked outside, confirming that people were staying there. Eager to check in and rest, I met one of the hotel employees and politely requested a room. Strangely, the employee didn't respond with words but handed me a room key, gesturing for me to follow. My girlfriend and I made our way to the room, and the exterior seemed ordinary enough. With exhaustion weighing on us, we swiftly unpacked our belongings and settled in for some much-needed rest. However, as the night deepened, I was jolted awake by a voice calling out. It was an eerie, unsettling call that stirred me from my slumber. I cautiously slid out of bed, glancing back at my girlfriend who was still asleep in a blanket, clutching my arm. "It's nothing," I whispered to her. "I'll go check it out." As I got up, a deafening noise erupted from the bathroom, and my girlfriend's voice echoed from within, asking, "What's wrong with you?" Goosebumps prickled my skin as confusion swirled in my mind. Whose hand had reached out to grab me moments ago beneath the blankets? I turned around, and there it was, hands vanishing hastily beneath the covers. Panic surged through me as I grappled with the surreal and conflicting sounds. A bathroom in use, a pounding at the door that contradicted my half-asleep consciousness. Just then, I heard what seemed to be my girlfriend's voice urgently calling from outside the door, "Hurry and come out." Driven by a sense of unease, I decided to open the door to investigate. But as the door creaked open, a middle-aged man burst into the room, gripping my arm with an iron grip, and uttered, "Come out, we need to talk." Still perplexed by the strange occurrences in the previous room, I contemplated heading back to retrieve our belongings. That's when my girlfriend's voice broke through my thoughts, her words laced with urgency. "I've taken everything out." Bewildered, I inquired about the matter, but her response remained unchanged. "Get out of here before I tell you," she stammered, tears welling up in her eyes. With a sense of foreboding settling in, I made the decision to leave the hotel immediately. The darkness outside only added to the eerie atmosphere, and I could see that my girlfriend was deeply affected by whatever had transpired. I instructed her to find the most luxurious room available to put this unsettling experience behind us. Entering another hotel, my annoyance from the previous encounter with the hotel staff still lingered. In a rather loud and impatient tone, I demanded, "Do you have a room for me to stay in?" The staff, seemingly stunned, quickly handed me the key to room 501. Without hesitation, I paid for the room, gathered our belongings, and led my girlfriend upstairs. As we ascended to the 5th floor, the dimly lit corridor raised questions about the hotel's economy. I began searching for a room until we reached the very end, room 501. When I opened the door, the lights flickered to life, and a chilling sight awaited us. Curtains had dropped as if someone had just released them. Trying to reassure my girlfriend, I pretended it was nothing, urging her not to dwell on it. After we'd settled in and prepared the room for a night's rest, we attempted to find solace in the new hotel. My girlfriend, still shaken from the previous ordeal, sought comfort by cuddling with me. Her anxiety caused me to shift slightly on the mattress, my hand slipping to the edge. My girlfriend and I settled in for the night, hoping for some much-needed rest. However, I awoke again after an indeterminate period. Something unusual had caught my attention. It felt like my hand had brushed against a human face. Panic surged as I quickly withdrew my hand, and in that instant, I heard a faint, eerie cry, "Ooh." Frozen with fear, I lay motionless in bed. The eerie moaning seemed to dance around the room, shifting from the foot of the bed to the bedside and then to the headboard. It continued to move, growing steadily closer until it halted right behind me. The mattress seemed to sag as if someone had stepped onto it, accompanied by a chilling voice that whispered, "Did you hear the sound?" Before I could react, consciousness slipped away once more. When I eventually regained consciousness, it seemed to be morning, judging by the faint light filtering through the window. The sound of persistent knocking at the door jolted me awake. Confused and disoriented, I made my way to the door and found a hotel employee standing there. Their words sent a shiver down my spine. "Customer, this room is not available." Perplexed, I was about to inquire further, but the staff urged us to vacate the room and join them in the lobby for a conversation. I reluctantly agreed and began packing our belongings. My girlfriend, sensing my unease, asked if something was amiss. I assured her it was likely a room issue, though uncertainty gnawed at me. As we followed the employee through the corridors, I couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister was afoot. As we reached the lobby, my curiosity gnawed at me, and I couldn't help but demand an explanation from the hotel staff. The employee hesitated, conveying their inability to elucidate the situation. They revealed that room 501 was not meant for hotel occupancy, and they would be refunding the payment to the customer. However, the employee I had encountered the previous night was new to the job and had mistakenly assigned us that room. In response, I declined the refund, driven by the unsettling feeling that had lingered since the night before. I confessed to having seen something inexplicable, perhaps even a ghost, in that room. I implored the chief of staff for answers, threatening to share this eerie encounter on social media to expose the hotel's mysterious happenings. Faced with my determination, the chief of staff reluctantly divulged the grim truth. The previous year, a woman had checked into room 501 and tragically took her own life by ingesting sleeping pills. Her death had left an indelible mark on the room, prompting a series of unsettling incidents. The hotel had no choice but to cease offering it to guests, closing it off indefinitely. As the chilling revelation settled in, I turned to my girlfriend, and together we decided to have breakfast and continue our journey, leaving behind the haunted room and its sinister secrets. The night we left that eerie hotel behind, I couldn't contain my curiosity any longer, and I finally mustered the courage to ask my girlfriend about the unsettling events of the previous night. Her reaction was immediate and profound. She was stunned into silence. Fearing what her response might reveal and still haunted by the night's horrors, I decided not to press her for answers. We made our way back home in an atmosphere thick with unspoken fears. Upon arriving at my girlfriend's house, she beseeched me to stay with her for another night, still gripped by the terror of what had transpired. Reluctantly, I agreed and took up residence in her room once more. A week passed, and my girlfriend finally found the strength to share her nightmarish experience from the hotel. On that fateful night, she awoke to an eerie sensation, a persistent poking that initially led her to believe it was me. However, the poking had an uncanny quality, distinctly different from a human touch, and she realized it was focused on her foot. Alarmed, she pushed herself up and confronted a sight that would forever haunt her. Standing before her was the same woman from the hotel's front desk, but her appearance had grotesquely distorted, making her seem inhuman. With trembling fear coursing through her, my girlfriend attempted to wake me by poking my leg with her own, but I remained in a deep slumber, oblivious to her distress. Left with no other choice, she hastily gathered her belongings from the bedside and fled from the room. Desperate for answers, my girlfriend approached the uncle, who was working at the hotel's front desk. She recounted her chilling encounter, and to her shock, the uncle simply muttered, "And you did this again." With that, the uncle and my girlfriend knocked on the door, calling for me to wake up. I stared at the sound, but maintained an air of reassurance, comforting my girlfriend, despite the eerie circumstances that continued to haunt us. After listening to my girlfriend's chilling account of our nightmarish hotel stay, it triggered a disturbing realization that I had experienced strange occurrences in the past as well. I recalled instances when people had mentioned seeing us arrive as a couple, even though I had come alone at times. Odd interference from female voices on the phone had also occasionally disrupted my life, but I had brushed these incidents aside, not giving them much thought. However, everything changed that ominous night when I found myself sleeping alone in my room. I awoke suddenly, gripped by an inexplicable numbness on the left side of my body. Terrified, I turned my gaze to the left, and there she was, an eerie figure of a woman seated on the bed beside me. It was as if she knew I had seen her, and she seemed to be attempting something, perhaps even trying to enter my body. Driven by sheer terror, I mustered every ounce of strength to break free from her grasp and fled the room. My escape led me straight to my mother's house, where I sought refuge and recounted all the eerie encounters I had experienced. Concerned for my well-being, my mother suggested that we visit a temple and consult with a monk to seek answers and protection from the inexplicable forces that had invaded our lives. The following day, I made my way to the temple to seek guidance from the monks. As I approached the monk's cubicle, I was taken aback by his voice admonishing me, "Stop right there, do not enter. Only two, you and your mother." His words startled me, and I hesitantly inquired about what could be done to resolve the unsettling matter. The monk suggested we speak with his disciple, a man named Bob, who was older in years. As Bob arrived, I expressed my desperation, fearing I could not endure the ongoing ordeal. Bob revealed that the spirit of the woman had been following me for some time. I have inadvertently persuaded her to accompany me, but her intentions toward me were not malicious. It seemed she saw it as merely cohabiting with me. However, I was determined to put an end to this torment and pleaded with Bob for guidance. With a firm resolve, Bob claimed to be in direct communication with the spirit haunting me. In a moment of bravery, I spoke up, addressing the spirit directly. "We are different individuals. Please, refrain from disturbing me. I promise to make merit for you." To my astonishment, the the spirit seemed to respond, acknowledging my words. Then, as if granted a reprieve, she vanished. With this resolution, I diligently performed acts of merit as I had promised, and from that day forward, I experienced no more strange occurrences or disturbances in my life. Thank you, awesome audience, for tuning in. Your support and enthusiasm mean the world to us. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest content. Until next time, keep spreading positivity and embracing creativity. Stay amazing, and we'll see you soon.